I have to turn it off and on because I don't have my controller on, and it needs to be an Xbox controller. Yes, I forgot the Xbox controller part. Whatever. Okay, that gives me what I want. Okay, this thing's working. I have to close this, reopen it, now that the controller's on. Alright, that's working. Okay, that's fun. Alright, checking the sound. Hello, testing. Alright, good enough. There we are again. I've been stuck in my head thinking about these blasted puzzles, especially barter, trying to come up with what I could possibly do for these. We're gonna go straight to barter because I want to figure this one out so badly. So I've come up with a sort of strategy for how I'm gonna solve this. There's only so many possible permutations of what can happen, or something of that ilk, I imagine. So, we're gonna go to pen and paper and eliminate them all. That's my strategy for this whole stream. I even wrote it in the title. We're going back to pen and paper. Yeah. In fact, I'm gonna just change it again. And it just says pen and paper. Alright, I'm determined. We're gonna get this solved. Alright. Put that there, okay. Alright, we have 3 options. We have oobleck and 2 chests. I'm gonna make an well, it's more like a hexagon. Sure, let's make it a hexagon. Is that a hexagon? 6 is hex? Yeah, 6 is hex. Alright. We got that. We have chest 1. Inside chest 1, we can make it's jarable, and it has a key inside. Alright, things I can bring into this chest to make things happen. If I flood it, flood equals key. So we have flood equals keys. Key equals a key. Sure. I'll just write it. Figure out what's relevant later. Alright, key equals key. I think that's it. Okay. So then we have chest number 2. Get this all written down. Okay, chest 2 has easy water. Has and if you have flood plus key, you get block. Alright. I've written it all down. Now magically help me figure out an answer from just writing this stuff on paper. Now, how do I make these 3 objects into a thing? Alright. Well, I can always start with what I can do with the oobleck. But I can also, like, preserve the oobleck by putting it inside a jar, so I can use the oobleck for later if that's important. And I can move stuff around without losing the oobleck. I can also leave the oobleck up here and turn the oobleck into something that is useful up here. Like, somehow if I could make it a wet jar, I could turn the oobleck into a wet jar and then have a key that goes up there. Is that even a viable thing I can do? I would need to bring the chest in here, make a wet jar. But then the oobleck would change into in the chest when I go to move it. Oh, I think that's just not worth investigating. I think the simplest thing Alright. Oobleck is preserved. Think about it later. But I probably need it in order to do anything in this puzzle, right? I mean, I can go in here and grab a key. I can even grab a jar. That's like my usual. I go in. So like here, more equations. So chest number 1 using chest 2 can turn this I bring the chest in here. I can make a wet jar. I can't bring anything else into the chest though, so all I get is a wet jar. What if I was able to bring a block? Trying to figure out copying this all works. So this is a wet jar. It's got a key. So, what chest one? I guess chest 1 plus chest 2 equals a block? I have next to nothing up here. I guess chest 1 plus chest 2 equals equals block. Not the most useful thing, considering that's doing that seems to just cause irreversible harm to myself. Because then I only have 2 objects. In this case, one of them is an oobleck. Yeah, I have no idea how to get this thing up here. If I had the block up here, I could jump up top here, jump over there, maybe touch the gym. No idea. What else can I do with these chests? What happens if I do this? We just gotta try other things. Okay, we have a dry jar. With the wet chest in it? Is that right? If I hop inside that jar, I can get the chest out. What can I bring in there that would result in anything other than... Yeah, I've got a jar. What do I pull out other than the chest? I'm running now and C1 jar plus block equals key. If that's ever something important. I gotta figure out other things I can do. Right now, this has got one of those chests inside one of these jars. Can I mean, the only thing I can bring into one of these jars is a block. I have 2 jars of wetness. But I need a key. This is useless. And the thing is, like, if I spend both these chests to turn them into a block, the block is pointless because there's nothing left to bring up the stairs except maybe a jar. In a dry C1 jar, I can bring that up to a chest. What happens if I put a chest inside a jar? Essentially nothing, right? Okay. What happens if you bring... Yeah, let's start doing stuff like that. We'll make all the equations of what happens when you bring a thing inside one of these things. So bringing a key inside the first chest gets you a key. Just write it down. Key plus C1 equals key. Right, I gotta write this differently. Key into C1 equals key. Okay. That means I should write this differently. Yeah, block into jar equals key. Okay. This has gotta help somehow. What happens if I bring a key into this? How, in which way is this working anyways? I'm bringing chest 1 into chest 2. Yeah, so chest 1 into chest 2. Alright, we're gonna use parentheses. Plus equals block. This is how you get wetness. How do I make water more useful? C1 into C2 E also equals key. Yeah. I'm gonna make this clear. C1 into C2 equals key. Let's say key or wet jar of C1 with key. I'm gonna call this jar jar A. A jar A is a wet jar of C1 with the key still intact. Okay, so that means that then C2 into jar A is how you get the block. So C2 into jar A equals block. That's a better way of writing this all out instead of rewriting what jar A is every single time. Oh. C1 into C1 doesn't seem to produce anything. Write it down. C1 into C1 is nothing. Equals nada. I can make a jar of this, but all I can pull out of the jar is C1, yeah. I can't even pull out a key. Only if I bring... Yeah. Okay. C1. Jar. It's only ever going to be C1 jars, I suppose. That's the only chest that makes jars. That is jar B. It is dry. Nothing in it. So jar. This is jar B. Bring a block into jar B equals a key. Okay. Well, keep writing stuff down. What is C2 into C2 is also nada. I can't do anything with this. Can't grab the block. Making the chest wet does nothing. Re-entering the jar chest does nothing. C2 into C2 is nada. So there's no point in bringing the C1 into C1 or C2 into C2. C1 into C2 produces a key, or it produces a jar A. Why not? There's a... I guess I just made a jar C. Jar C is oobleck. C1. That is jar C. Okay. What can I do with a jar C? Figure that in a second. I don't know. Alright, so bringing jar or chest 2 into C1 that is jar D. C2 and C1 jar D. Does jar D do anything? I mean, this does not produce a result. Write that down. So, C2 into C1. Oh, the only thing it produces is jar D. Yeah, so it produces something, but I need to see if jar D does anything. Okay. So, let's just go ahead and make this, because why not? We have a jar D. What can I bring to jar D to make something useful? This is an oobleck. I think I need to make 2 jars. Or 2 blocks. So if I can turn C1 into C2 and then have a block, I can then turn the blocks. I can turn 1 block into a key. I can only bring 1 block up top though. I can bring the block and the jar. Is there some fathomable way to get 2? If I had to, I'd like, it's pointless to think of like if I had 2 blocks up top. Like I feel like I should be done at that point. I can use 1 block. If I'm making 3 blocks, how do I get 2 blocks up top? When does that make sense? We need to write more equations down. That's the simple solution here. Figure out as many configurations as I can. Figure out what does what. So this is C1. This is, I think, jar. This is jar D. Does bringing, double check this. This is chest 1. Chest 1 into jar D produces what? Okay. We'll just go through all of it, all configurations. Into jar D. What are things that this chest now produces? Bring this key in here. Just gets me another key. Not very fancy. I can make a jar, but I can't take the jar out. All the jar does is hold another key inside of it. No. It gets me a jar B. I'm just essentially doing this one thing I know how to do in this thing anyways, though. Just gets me a block. Alright, so C1 into jar D doesn't really accomplish much. It gets me a block. I can get me a key. I made a block or key. Or it can get me chest 1, or it can get me a chest 2. Because... Wait, can it get me... No, I'm in... Yeah, I brought a chest 1 into... So I have literally anything that everything I brought in is an option to bring back out. That kind of makes some sense, I suppose. I suppose I could save whether I can get a jar out of there. If I have access to C1, I always have access to jar B. Very, very useless. I can get another jar D because I have both chests in there again. I can just make another jar D. I can bring C1 into jar D and come back out with another jar D. So, C1 into jar D produces jar D. So useless. It does not create jar. It can make jar A, can it? That's the whole setup, yeah. Or jar A. What's the oobleck jar? That's jar C. It does not produce jar C. There's no oobleck. I don't think I need to make any jar Ds. Because the only things it can produce... can produce a block, a key, C1, C2... It can just produce whatever you brought into it. This is very unnecessary. So this, bringing a C1 into jar D is the equivalent of bringing, let's see, this one, where's the wet jar? Where do I have this written down? C2 into jar A produces a block. So C2 into jar A equals C1 into jar D. Jar D is useless. Kinda knew that from the start, but now it's written down. Alright, other configurations. Just keep messing around with stuff. Jar D is useless. Put a big X over it. Alright. Jar C is more of a question mark. It preserves the oobleck, but it brings the oobleck down here. But at the end of the day, I need like... Don't I need... I suppose the block... The one configuration where I don't need 2 blocks is if I have 2 keys. 2 keys on a block is a success. So I guess having more than 1 block isn't necessarily the correct thing. Although I can get 2 blocks, but then I can turn one of the blocks into a key once I've done that. Problem is the block is stuck down here. I could have area 1 and area 2. Or something of that nature. Make a giant Venn diagram. These things belong in area A and these things belong in area B. Surely writing all this down is going to help somehow. Well, let's do Jar C. Jar C... I get an... Holy moly, it's a Recursed stream. Hi, Hecate. It's one of those things. Yes, it is a Recursed stream. I am resorting to pen and paper to try and rule out possibilities until I have only the answer in front of me. This has got to work somehow. I don't know how it's going to work, but it's going to work. Because when out of possibilities, you only have the solution in front of you. Or something of that nature. Something like that sounds wise and wizardly. I don't know. I've devised that making Jar D is completely pointless. And Jar D is putting chest 2 into chest 1. So I don't need to make any Jar Ds. They're useless. You just get everything you put into them back out. So why did you make Jar D in the first place? Oh, you are also driven to pen and paper. That makes me feel good about going this route. Even though I feel like so much of this is just wasted time. I already knew Jar D was useless from the start. Why did I have to write it out? I suppose that's to prove that it's useless. It's now proven useless. I don't have to think about it ever again. Alright, do I want to just start doing Jar C now? This is Jar C. What can I do with Jar C? It's got an oobleck in it. Oh, start writing it out, I guess. It's just the more time I don't spend writing this out, the more time I'll waste deciding to do it later. Or something. Alright. Chest 1, or wait, no, I can also bring the jar inside the chest. Good grief. If I bring chest 1 into Jar C, I wind up with here, except I have an oobleck in the chest. Of course, the oobleck instantly becomes whatever I go into the jar with. So I have two of the same chests, but I've proven that having two of the same chests does nothing. Having bringing C1 into C1 gives you nada, and giving you C2 to C2 basically also gives you nada. You just can walk back out with the chest you walked in with. So bringing stuff inside of jar C gives you nada. Sure. Write it down. Just all things you bring into jar C will give you nada. Alright, so that's pointless. There's no point in delivering this. Alright. So bringing stuff into jar C is useless. The only thing jar C does is it preserves the oobleck. So, jar C protects oobleck. Alright. So jar C's only purpose is that. Alright. What else we got? We have jar D is gone. Jar C is just has one single purpose. We have dry jar B, yeah, and that's just C1 with nothing brought in. That creates a key if you bring a block inside. Do I have that written down? Make sure I have it written down. Jar B, block into jar B. I do not have it written down, I'm writing it down. Block into jar B equals key. Alright. I could technically also bring a key in there, but that you just get another key, so it's basically nada. You get nothing. You get -1 jar. So yeah, it's essentially nothing. So jars B, I mean, if you bring something else into the jar, do we get something other than a key? I mean, the thing has nothing in it. This is essentially C1. If I bring C1 into C1, that's nada. Even if it's a jar. Okay, so that's useless. Does bringing chest 2 into this do anything? Let's just do it. Alright, hold on, that's not even the right thing. Alright, this is chest 1. Bring chest 2 into jar, what is this, jar C? Jar C, no. Jar B, this is jar B. Did it just do anything? It doesn't really seem to do anything. I got nothing for my time. Alright. So, bringing chest 2 into jar B does nada. C2 into jar B equals nada. Okay. So jar B is essentially only good for turning a block into a key. I already knew that, but it's written down now. I know there's no other purposes. Alright. I'd confirmed that this is only good for protecting. So D is done. C is done. B is done. All we've got left is jar A. Start working on jar A, I guess. Alright, so I know that bringing C2 into jar A equals a block. Problem is you lose C2 in order to get the block. You also lose jar A. There's only one jar A. I don't think there's even a way to make a second jar A. Or at least one that's like up there. I could technically have a second jar A down here, but it's useless. Essentially both these chests are better when they're wet, right? Yeah, they produce more when they're wet. Can I only make one wet thing? Is it possible to make more than one wet thing? And it has to be jar, right? Yeah, there's... If I'm... Essentially, I can have 2 jar A's and 1 chest 2. Having a jar A in a jar A, that can't do anything, can it? Oh. Do it and find out. What does a jar A inside a jar A do? Did I even do that right? No, I didn't. Is there a difference between... Hang on. So this... So, okay, chest 1 into jar A just produces a key. That's the same thing that bringing chest 1 into chest 2 does. Yeah, that's already basically, that's the same thing, since they're based off of each other. That's sort of written down already. Yeah, C1 to C2 gives you a key or a wet jar, which is I'm calling jar A. Alright. Again, let's just do it. Jar A appears to be the most useful of the jars I can create. Alright, I've got Jar A and Jar A. What happens if I jump in Jar A with Jar A? I can get a key, or I can get a key. I can also jump into Jar A with nothing and get a key. So nothing changes. There's no point in putting Jar A in Jar A. Alright. Okay. Yeah. Do more things with Jar A, I guess. I mean, if I bring an oobleck into Jar A, I get an oobleck or a key. But I can also just go into Jar A. Yeah, let's just write it like this. Just Jar A equals key. Then I don't have to save more than that. So if you go into Jar A, and all you get with an item, and all you get is a key, you got nada. You did nothing. There's no point in doing it. Alright. So, I have Jar 2 into Jar A equals a block. What? If I C1 into Jar A does nothing, right? Yeah. C1 into Jar A. Yeah, why is it not written anywhere? Here it is. No, that's Jar A. But that's the same thing as C1. Alright, just write it down. C1 into Jar A only has C1 a key. Yeah. So you get nada. It's nada. Useless. Waste of time. Alright, what else do I even have left? Yeah, the oobleck. That's nada. Write it down. Oobleck into Jar A is nothing. What else? What else can go in Jar A? I don't even have to contemplate Jar D, it does nothing. We've decided Jar C does nothing, it just gives you oobleck back. Oh, if you bring Jar B into Jar A, you have access to dry. But jar A doesn't really produce anything if you just... I mean, jar A produces nothing. No, wait, hang on, No, jar A produces a key. Bringing something into jar A produces a key. It's only useful if you bring C2 into jar A, because then that produces a block, which is a new thing. So C2 into jar A is a block, C1 into jar A is nada, Oobleck into jar A is nada. That's all the things, because jar D is useless, jar C only has the Oobleck, it doesn't produce anything new. Yeah. Jar C equals Oobleck, basically. And that's its only purpose. I feel like I'm out of jars. I mean, I can technically make a... I mean... feels very useless, but I can make Oobleck into a void space. Why is void space useful when I don't have enchanted items? I can't think of a reason why this is useful here. If I put, it's just putting something in here doesn't do anything. You just come out with what you had. The only way I can think of the Oobleck copying a jar being useful is something is in the jar that I want to get up here without a block. But the problem with that is I can't put something in the chest at that point. This thing I come out with is just nothing because I can't come out with the chest with anything in here. Because I can't put something in the chest. I have no Aqua Mortis. I can't turn the Oobleck into a jar C unless I bring it downstairs. Which then there's no longer a point in turning the Oobleck into a jar because it's not accomplishing anything. Think more on it because why not? What would I want to move up and down without access to a block? The only other option is like a key, right? Because if I have a block, then the Oobleck just copies the block, and then it's done. In fact, I can just bring the Oobleck up top if I have an Oobleck and a block, all I have to do is turn the Oobleck into a block, jump on the block, carry it up. I don't need this complicated process. So the only thing that I can think of where it'd be useful is if I had an oobleck and a block, but I wanted a key. But I can't. I can't pick up something. The only. Okay. Well, it just means I put a jar up here instead. So I would put the jar C up here. I would turn the block into a key. At that point, is that also not the same equivalent of just turning? Yeah, that's the same thing, isn't it? Because you just have an oobleck, you have a block. You turn the oobleck into a block. You jump in jar. What is it? Jar B? I have this written down. Block into jar B is a key. Yeah. So then you just jump. You have two blocks. You now have a key and a block. You just take the key, you jump on the block, you're up here. No need for the complicated process. This is why for the longest time I figured the best thing to do with the oobleck is just turn it into a chest. Because turning it into a jar seems pointless. Turning it into a block is nice. It means I can get a block up here, but the block up here doesn't do anything unless I have a third key. Or another key up here. Whatever that means. Which what I think means that that means you have a block, a key, and another block. At that point you just have it solved because having two blocks and a key is the equivalent of having two keys and a block. You just use you just use jar B to turn it into a key. So unless there's magical land, you only have two items, but then how do you get stuff up here? It doesn't make sense. You have three items, no matter what. The only way to bring something up here without a block is to have an oobleck. But at that point you have the oobleck, you have the block. You just... The oobleck can be whatever it needs to be. It can even be another block. There's no point in using the oobleck to transfer the block downstairs up to it. You just have it. It just copies the block, and it's whatever you need the block for. It can be as fancy as I want. Put it inside put the block inside of a jar. It'd be jar E at this point. I don't have a jar E for putting a block inside of a jar. You copy the jar, you jump into the jar, you have a block. The other jar is now a void space. And here, you're happy, you turned your oobleck into a block. But you did it the hard way. Yeah, you wind up with a block and a void space jar instead of a block and a block. There's no point. There's a solution to this room. I think this was our, like, in another puzzle. Wait, where? I need stuff again. Alright. Alright, keep this safe for a sec. That's our Jarcy in action right there. Just to check how this works. Alright, this is 2 jar A's. Here's a weird thought. If you copy your jar, but then jump inside the jar with the jar, what happens? First of all, let's just check the first thing on my list. This is a... yeah, becomes a dry void. There is no such thing as a wet void space. Nice try, me. Alright, let's do this other thing. What on earth happens when you do what I just described? Have I done that before? What happens when you jump inside the jar? Do you come out in the void? After the second jar breaks? This is a weird concept. I don't think I need more than this, right? I don't even think I bothered to make it a wet jar, I just did it. Alright, this is jar. What happens when you do this? Interesting. The jar you jump into becomes a void space. It doesn't just become the room a second time, even though the space still exists. I feel like it should like work like an enchanted chest or something of that. Unfortunately, that probably means that doing such a thing is not helpful. I suppose if you needed to, again, like it'd be useful for like making a dry space in a wet room. There would have to be like a chest or something inside of the room already. Yeah, I think there's a use case for that, but I don't think that's relevant to the puzzle in front of me. How on earth? What haven't I done at this point, though? Jar B. Yeah, I've decided that Jar B turns blocks into keys. I can make as many Jar Bs as I want. I have to spend something to make a Jar A though. You can still throw it while your animation is going on. Weird. Yeah, nothing else special happens. You don't magically jump higher while holding an object. I'm too busy hunting exploits. I want to make more of something. The only thing I can make infinite of is Jar A. Or no, Jar B. That's the only thing I can make more of. Can I not turn Jar B into something? If I jump into something with Jar B, do I get something? Alright, we have a jar. Jar E has a jar A or jar B in it. Even if I were to get the jar inside this chest. I can't get the chest out. Such nice sounds. I got nothing. Except you're not a void space. Because I wasn't messing with you. I didn't do anything because I'm... Alright. This can't possibly lead to something. I'm in the same boat as before, right? I can make many, many, many more jars. And the jars... Oops, don't do anything. I'm not understanding. The only thing I should be left with is the solution after I do all this stuff. The max thing I can max get 2 jar A's. But at the end of the day, I would still need a jar 2 or a chest 2 to make anything with jar A. Come on, I've been thinking about this all week. That's what that is. I always get confused by my own alarm when it's going off. I'm trying to think now. I'm trying to think of how I can use the void space, but like, there's no enchanted things. There can't possibly be something. Like, what if I put a void space inside of a jar? I still can't store something in the void. You can't store. Only if it's enchanted can you store something in the void. Do some wall jumps. I don't know. The only thing left on this page should be the solution. What else can I do in here? Car. Is there anything where I can spend? I can spend a block to get a key. I can spend jar A and get a key. Then why did I even bother getting jar A? I spend both chests, I get. Okay. Do I have to like, I don't get this. What on earth? If I were to bring a stupid concept, but if I bring a block into this, yeah, if I bring a block into this room, I don't get anything. I bring a block into the flooded version of this room, I get nothing. What if I write down, bring this to the here? Alright, let's write down... Okay. Does this have any other purpose? It has water. Water is only useful for chests. So, it's only useful for chest 1. Or chest 2 for that matter. But the problem is, if I bring chest 2 inside of itself, which means like... Which I have to do through the oobleck. That's the only way to do that. I can't do anything with that in the end. I can't leave the chest and leave the chest inside. I mean, okay, maybe I can in a convoluted way. I make a jar A. I then bring... But that doesn't work because then I can't... I'm inside a jar. I can't save the instance anymore. And then I don't have anything to copy chest 2. I would need to copy chest A. Bring... Bring the chest inside of jar A, only to copy the water again, which is like, I just get another jar A. Do I get it? Well, I need to do stuff, so I'll just do it. Well, I made a super jar A. It has 2 keys in it now. What was my goal? Go in there with chest 1. It's flooded. This allows me to get 2 different blocks. They're stuck inside this chest. fact that I can set... So I can make a super jar A. But I can only bring one thing out of the jar anyways. So I wind up with just one block. Now I could set up a second jar A and then have a block and a key. What if instead of that chest, it was an oobleck? And at the end of the day, you copy the block, or you copy a jar with a block in it, you just get another block. Oh, I can't imagine what it is you do. Bring the block. If you bring up... If a block is up here, I can throw something to it. If I have a single block up here, I can get a second block up here. Is that true? Yes! Oh my god! Ah! I did it! Oh my god. Alright, I just needed... Oh my god! Oh my god! Alright, first things first. Preserve that. Because I need to make 2 blocks. Then make a jar. The only point of the jar is to turn the block into a jar. Or the block into a key. Okay. Okay, get my block. Good gravy. Wow. Alright, I definitely was thinking outside the box in like game mechanics. Outside the box game mechanics. But hopefully this wasn't something I had already figured out. This is something I'd already figured out, I would have been able to think of this, right? I don't think I've ever... This must not be something I've thought before. If not, I'm going to be very embarrassed. If I did do this, don't tell me in the comments. Just let me be blissfully ignorant. Alright, so... this in here. Get my one block. I'm an idiot, because I only made one jar. Alright. Yeah, put that... make a jar, you doofus. Yeah. I need 2 blocks, but then I also need 2 keys. Alright. Make 2 jars. I need 1 for both blocks. Alright. Alright. Okay. That there. Huzzah! Oh, don't do that yet. Bring these up top. Didn't even make the jump. Come on now. Yeah! Wait a minute. Don't you dare. Oh, right. Hang on. Yeah, there we go. How long was that? Have I spent here? About an hour and 45 minutes. Oh my god. At the end of the day, it wasn't even like writing things down that got me there. It was just the thought that like if I could get something on top of the door while I'm jumping at the door, I was able to throw this like up to it. And I was like, well, if there was a block for it to land on, then it would stay up there. And I was like, I can do that down here, can't I? I can have 2 blocks, throw the block up top, it means it's done. But barter's done! The answer was you needed 2 blocks. Because then the blocks allow... you can throw the stuff on top of the first block. What a concept. Have I feel like that's totally something that one of these other puzzles would have had me figure out already. I don't know. I got the solution, I suppose. That's technically like new. I think that's new information I didn't have before. Maybe that's important for one of these other puzzles. Hey, this. What the heck? The chest. The chest in the middle is open. I have access to 6 more puzzles. Ah! I opened the big chest. That's terrifying. Oh, well, it's super late. I'm streaming a lot later than I normally do. I figured like I should just spend my evening working on one of these puzzles because like I've been thinking about barter so much. And at the end of the day, like, none of all of the thinking mattered. It was just a mechanic that I hadn't come up with yet. Or, I really hope I haven't done this before. Well, it's gotta be useful somewhere, right? Not right now. Save that for an entire another day. Man, I'm not ready for another puzzle. Alright, is there blocks involved at all? No, there's no blocks. This has a block in it, but it only has 1 block. There are no other blocks in existence. Yeah, no blocks exist. I don't think I'm gonna do anything else tonight. I'm just gonna take my victory and run. Because at this point, I don't have brain power for anything else. Is this like how the rest of these episodes are going to be? You just sit. I don't think I should. Doing long streams for this game doesn't work anymore. Because I take so much brain power on one chest that I don't want to think anymore when I get to the next chest, which means I should, stop for the day, come back when I want to think. Yeah, I like that phrasing, wanting to think about the next chest. I suppose I could look at these. I haven't looked at them yet. Just get them in my head. Ah, it's pretty! It's got a little lantern thing. Why is this room have a thing that goes up and down when it's filled with water? Is this filled with water? Is this the original chest? There we go. And it's God. So I guess, do you want this room to be filled with water? I mean, there's water up here. Good gravy. I don't want to think right now, though. Oh, weird, you can't jump by that. Alright. I will... Oh my god, everything's a different setting. That's very cute. This has a block. Does it have more blocks? I know what to do with blocks nowadays. Enchanted cauldrons. It's oobleck with keys. Which means there's no point unless... Wait. What is the point of this? If you bring it... What? It has to be the enchanted cauldron. You put the enchanted cauldron in the room. What? This is 3 different things. Yeah, this means you... have to leave this room, get back into the color loop, and get back into the cauldron that leads... Is this red? Gray? Orange? This is gray. This is blue. I guess this is red then. You'd have to get back to the red cauldron, jump in, reappear in this room, then you can finally grab the oobleck. Don't even know what the oobleck is for. There's a chest over here. Is there something else in here? Is this the same place? Except it's now gray? Good grief. The random key over there. I guess this is solved once I have that door open. And the block. Maybe I just need to grab lots of ooblecks. I need ooblecks, keys, useless thing. Yeah, will need to, whenever I leave the room, I need to take the oobleck with me out of the room or something. Right? Yeah, but I can't get out of the room unless I jump in the cauldron. So anytime I want to leave this room, I have to take the key with me. Because I can't lose the key. Such a strange thing. Alright, now for that. We poke our hidden. We don't work on solving these right now. Yay! So what's the... Oh yeah, there's a cauldron. I haven't even jumped in it yet. There's so much! There's even an enchanted chest. They both have iterations, but this one has jars! Good golly! A second one of these. Enchanted keys. Is there water somewhere? Oh, I haven't even gone over there yet. Ah, Aqua Mortis and a block and another thing for a key. Good gravy. Well, this is very retro or modern or something. This is just one room? Huh? Oh, that floats! It's an elevator! It floats because it's an elevator. That's so cute. And of course, the entrance moves as you raise it up or down. So cute. So cute. And then you jump in here with the box, and then you turn into the boxes. I feel like this one's it's only the one room. That probably means it's very complicated. We're still not going to work on stuff right now. There's a well. Only for looking. Why? Why do you have two different... Why do you have two different... But they're right next to each other. Why would you need different jar spots if they're right next to each other? That's the wimpiest amount of water I've ever seen enter a flooded room. What the heck is the point of... Oh, that's right, you can use it twice. That's why they have 2 in 1. That's right. Ah! I bet this thing uses the... Of course, this thing doesn't ever become flooded. I guess you put the key down there, and when you jump in a jar... Such strangeness. Such strangeness. Testing weird stuff out right now. So you use this, get out of water. Then you put it back in the jar. Very weird. Alright. A day out. The deeper levels of the Ice Palace. Again, I'm gonna just have to stick to one. Yeah, I think, like, maybe just do more of these, like, night sessions where I just focus on one puzzle. Because, again, the long streams don't seem to have any advantage at this point. Ah. Oh well. Anyways, I got my crystal. I'm happy. I've been so bothered by barter for so long. Good gracious. That's been bothering me for so long. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna hit the stop streaming button any minute now. Because I've got nothing else to talk about. I'm just marveling. 1, 2, 3. 3 more? No, 4 more. I've got that chest too. Alright, okay. What chest am I gonna think about next? Probably low tide, right? No, not low tide. Which one's the one that, like, I got so close to being done? Is it sure or borrow? It was borrow. Yeah, this is the one that I've very, very close to having finished, or something, or at least very close to the exit. Let's go with close to the exit, not close to being finished. Who knows how many extra layers this blasted puzzle has. I'll make this my goal for next time. I will reanalyze this room, check my see what I did, and all that stuff, and I'll try and get borrow done. Alright. Alright, now I will just call it a day. Call it a night? Call it a night. Yay me. I did the smart stuff. I wrote all this down and it feels like it wasn't very useful. Maybe it'll be useful for what's it? Borrow? I think that was what I was working on, borrow. There's a lot of iterations for borrow. So having it written down might be useful. How did I run into that solution? I feel like it was just pure luck that I was just from randomly throwing a block at that door. I was like, you know what a weird concept that just popped into my head? If there were like a box sitting on top of the door and I could throw the thing high enough while gliding up against the door, the box would stay up there. I don't know how I got... That was just so random. But that was like, oh, I should do this down there, where it's actually useful. Ah, happiness. I'm very happy. How did I do that? Alright. Goodbye, everyone. Have a good night. I guess I'm not gonna plan streams anymore. I'm just gonna decide if I have time, I'll pop open an evening stream. Okay. Enjoy. I'm officially pressing the stream button that I've been contemplating.